Juan, thank you so much for coming in.
Let's go, man. Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, bro.
Absolutely. You want to tell the audience a little bit about like your background, I guess, as far as what you're into, so they have precedence kind of moving through the rest of the podcast?
Yeah, for sure, man. So first off, just want to, thank you for having me in your home right now. We're shooting a podcast here. You reached out to me on social media to film this, and here we are. So this is a cool opportunity. And just to give you guys a quick background on me, I could dive deep into this, which maybe we will. But so my name is Juan Gascue. Originally, grew up in Buffalo, New York. So pretty cold up there.
Dude, I'm from Wisconsin.
Yes, you know how it is.
Very, very similar.
Yeah, man. So grew up there. Was born and raised in Colorado. My dad died at a young age. My mom remarried a man that lived in New York. We moved up to New York. Spent a lot of time. Up until 22 years old up in New York. 22 years old. COVID hit. Decided I needed a change. What better place to move than Miami? So moved down here with nothing but an Instacart job and a dream. And
Love that.
So yeah, man, hit the ground running here. Was working Instacart heavy. The first couple of years I was here. Had a lot of bad vices at the time. So I grew up, smoking weed from the age of 13. By age like 16, 17, I was taking Xanax pills every day.
Damn.
Started taking Percocets, dude. Had every bad vice you could think of. And then, so basically from the age 13 to just about a little over a year ago, I decided to get fully sober. But yeah, every day I would smoke weed, Xanax pills, Percocet pills, casinos, hookers, strippers,
Damn.
parties, every bad vice you could think of, bro.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I moved down here, hoping to change because I was living a really bad lifestyle in Buffalo. And what happened was I moved down here and I created a new environment for myself.
Sure.
But I was still, in that same negative mindset with the same negative habits, the same vices. So for the first year I was here, man, I was grinding Instacart heavy, doing a lot of drugs, parties, living that, Miami lifestyle. That you see so often portrayed, on social media and in movies and stuff.
For sure.
So yeah, dude, that led to a really low moment 9 months after I got here, which led to, me attempting to take my life one night after losing all my money at the casino. I drained my entire bank account. I had rent due the next day, and I didn't know how I was going to pay rent. So I was like, all right, I'm better off gone. I had about 20 Xanax pills in my car. I go up to my car. I film a suicidal video. I put all the pills in one hand. I'm recording myself. I'm like, guys, playing the victim. I'm like, guys, this is my way out. I don't deserve to be here. I just feel like no one loves me. The world is against me. Took all the pills in at once. And that was it, man. I thought I should have died there. But by the grace of God, I sent that video to my mom, to my sister, and I posted it on Instagram. By the grace of God, my sister had my location on her phone, so she knew exactly where I was. The second she saw that video, she called an ambulance. She, raced over to where I was at. She drove over to me, found me, basically half dead in the car by the time the ambulance got to me. They got to me. They brought me to the hospital. They pumped my stomach. They got the drugs out of my system just on time before they hit, or I would have been toast. I woke up the next morning in the hospital with no recollection of what had happened. The doctor told me you were seconds away from losing your life. And from that moment on, I knew I had to make a change. So for the next month and a half, I slowed down my using. I was still using because I was in a really low state of mind. And then about 2 months later, my best friend from back home died. And, we were living a very similar lifestyle. Everything he was doing, I was doing. So it was a big wake-up call for me. I went back home to Buffalo, New York for his funeral. The moment I stepped into the funeral room, it was an open casket funeral. I heard the voice of God for the first time in my life when I laid my eyes on his dead body. And it basically came into my head and told me, if you continue to live your life the way that you're living, you continue to do the things you're doing, this is going to be you in this funeral room with your friends and family in here, mourning your death. So in that moment, I knew I had to make a change, and I didn't know what to do, but I knew I wanted to live a better life. I knew I didn't want to end up dead. So I meditated on that thought, on that feeling, on the voice of God for the next 2 weeks, just praying about it a lot, asking God, what did you mean when you came in and told me this? Like, what are you trying to tell me? I'm telling you right now that I don't want to live a life like this anymore. I want to get clean. I want to live a good life. Show me the way. I remember praying such bold prayers, dude, during that time. And I would literally ask God, I was like, God, if you're real, I need you to show up.
Sure.
Like, I need you to show up and show me a different way. So 2 weeks later, after praying these bold prayers, man, that voice comes back in and tells me, go get a gym membership, go work out. I'd never worked out a day in my life. So I tapped into that voice a little bit. I remember when I first, went to go get the gym membership, how uncomfortable I felt walking into there. It felt like the world was against me. Like everybody was further ahead than me, stronger than me, more confident than me. But I knew that I had to do it because it was the voice that was so powerful that told me to go do it. So I did it, and I made a 3-month commitment to myself. I signed up at the gym, LA Fitness over on West Flagler Street. Signed up, said I'm going to work out every single day for 3 months. Stuck to my word, worked out every day for 3 months. 3 months in, dude, I put on 50 pounds of muscle in 3 months. I went from 140 pounds to 190 pounds. I fully transformed myself in 3 months. It was insane.
That's crazy.
I couldn't believe the transformation I saw in such a short period from a small commitment that I made. So from that period, I was like, all right, let me take this commitment and turn it up a notch. Let me work out every day for a year and see what happens. So I stuck to that commitment, worked out every single day for a year straight, really transformed myself, started to see changes, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, in all areas. I was starting to improve. And that's when I started to realize that this was my calling. Fitness was my calling, my passion, and my purpose in life. So I tapped into that a little bit, started to get deep into prayer again, into introspection, just thinking about what I wanted to do moving forward, because I knew there was more out of life than doing Instacart. Sure. At the time, 100%. I was working out, dude, I was still doing Instacart all the time. It's like, all right, let me take a step back. If I was able to change my life like this over the last year through fitness, let me help other people how I've been able to help myself. So that's when I got into personal training. For the next year, I was working as an in-person trainer, going to people's houses, training them in person, even worked at a couple of gyms, offering training sessions at gyms. Built a long list of clients, even started training Aiden Ross. I'm sure you know who he is.
Yeah, streamer, right?
Yeah, trained him a couple times. But then I started to realize I was losing my passion for it, man. Like I was training all these big names, and I had a long list of clients, and I was making decent money, but I was like, I'm spending 10 hours in the gym. By the time it's my time to work out, I'm not even looking forward to it anymore. I don't even want to work out anymore. I'm spending so much time in the gym. I want to get out of the gym. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I don't want to lose my passion for something that I love so much that saved my life from such low moments. So that's when I took a step back. I put all my clients on pause, started to assess the situation, how I could make changes moving forward. I knew I still wanted to work in this space, in this fitness industry. And that's when, I decided online coaching was the move, because I could free up my time, location, and financial freedom, create my own schedule and have a bigger impact, being able to serve more people through my service. So I got into that about a year ago, had no sense of direction, just a desire, to want to do this, but had no sense of direction, didn't have a plan. That's when I invested in my first mentor, paid this guy $6,000 to teach me the blueprint, to learn, how to be an online coach, what systems to put in place, how to create business structure and, be able to monetize your social media and all that.
Do you have can you share who that is?
Yeah, his name's Hakeem White.
Hakeem White.
Yeah, that was the first mentor I invested with.
Just in case somebody watching is in the same boat, this might be a great connection for them.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Okay.
Yeah, he really helped me dial in systems as far as becoming an online coach. So for the next, after I invested with him, I spent about 3-4 months just creating my offer, figuring out what I wanted to offer, how I wanted to help people, how I was going to structure my business, what I wanted to deliver. And after 3 months of doing that, dude, I really, dialed in what I was going to offer, and then I hit the ground running with it. Got my first couple of clients, and it's just been, trending up since then. So it's been quite the journey, bro, over the last couple of years. But yeah, it all started with fitness for me.
That's crazy. So that's the end of the podcast. Mic drop. That was great, bro. That was crazy. You've only done 3 podcasts?
Yeah, 3 podcasts. Bullshit. This is my third. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Dude, swear to God, yeah.
What speaking classes have you taken?
So I've done a couple. I've done 2 in-person events as well. So I've spoken on stage before.
Okay. You're very comfortable. You got your whole spiel down to a T. That was great, man.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, dude, I've been practicing this a lot. I really feel called to start sharing my story and my testimony, just because how I always look at it and what I always say is if I can help one person through my story, that's more than enough.
Sure.
And I know there's someone out there struggling that's in a position that I was once in.
Sure. For the audience too, like we had no idea. Like I didn't know you. I didn't know anything about that story right there. So as they're learning, I'm learning. Yeah. So that was a crazy kind of wild turn of events, right? You had some down times, but now you're kind of on the come up. Congratulations on being sober. That's absolutely amazing. Dude, cool story. And I'm excited to dive in a little bit. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, just so you kind of have that background. So I quit drinking about a year ago. Never take another drink in my life. I don't smoke weed. That shit makes me way too anxious. Never got into pills or anything like that. I'm chewing nicotine gum right now. So I smoke cigars and I chew like nicotine gum. It makes me a lot more talkative in the podcast setting here. I would say nicotine and video games are, I guess, my two vices. Sometimes I play video games like League of Legends or some shit like that. I'm trying to think of what else, bro. Real estate. Have you seen like the real estate side of my Instagram?
Yeah, I looked through your page a little bit. I see the shirt too.
Yeah. So
your brand?
Yeah, this is my website, realmyestate.com. But realtor and then investments. Been in this house about a year. So yeah, bro, let's dive back into kind of your story and your situation. Where do you want to go with that, right? Because there's so many places that we could take this. How did you come to be so confident in sharing that story and being so open about such a dark time?
That's such a good question, bro.
Because there's a lot of people in that position, like you said, but they won't open up and they won't share it and they won't let people in to help.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I appreciate you asking that.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to two main things, right? I think the first thing is guidance, seeking guidance not only from other people and learning from others, but also from above. Because I truly believe that when you have that connection with God, with source energy, that you're just guided through life. And you don't have to make these choices on your own because these choices are just like made for you.
Sure.
Through that divine connection. So I think that's number one. And then number two is kind of what I just shared. It's like that simple fact, man, that you're not only doing yourself a disservice, but you're also doing the world a disservice, and you're doing everybody around you a disservice by not sharing your story.
Selfish to not share.
Yeah, because
everybody
there's
thinks
out there that could benefit, dude.
Everybody thinks it's selfish to share. Like, oh, I shouldn't be posting 5 times a day. No, you definitely should be, because one of those 5 posts could change your life.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just, and it gets easier the more you kind of start to share too. Like the first time, it's like, you kind of maybe feel off about it, but the more you start to open up, the more you start to share, there's power in vulnerability.
1,000%. That's what I was thinking about when you were telling the story. I was like, damn, dude, like, you're going to connect with so many people.
Yeah. Dude, and that's my goal, man. It's like, I just want to help. That's it. I know how low those moments felt, and I know how it felt like there was no way out during those dark times. And what really saved me and actually helped me to answer your question a little bit more directly with sharing my story was seeing other people share theirs. So that's why I feel so called to now share my story, because that's how I initially got the help. Sure. And was able to share my story by hearing other people's stories.
Who are those people that you were listening to that kind of motivated you?
Yeah, there's a couple, man. There's a couple main ones. So when I first, I'll kind of take it back to when I first started working out and everything. I would watch just like the classic bodybuilder guys, like, Ronnie Coleman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who else? David Lade. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I'm pretty removed from this industry, man.
Yeah.
I know Schwarzenegger and
Ronnie Coleman.
Ronnie, he's like injured right now, right? Like he can't walk or something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. He squatted so much weight. But those were big guys that helped me with fitness when I was first getting into working out. This other guy named Rich Piana, R.I.P. He's one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time.
He died of like steroid use or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay, I know him.
He helped me a lot when I was putting on weight, dude, because he makes these videos on YouTube. They're great. I still watch them, and they're just like super classics. And in the videos, he's like, I don't give a fuck how you feel. I don't give a fuck if you're full. If you want to put on weight, you need to eat. Eat. Once you're full, keep eating. And dude, that helped me a lot. That's how I was able to put on. I credit a lot of me being able to put on 50 pounds in 3 months to him. I literally remember sitting in my kitchen at my kitchen table, bro. I would throw on his YouTube video, and I would just have a plate full of freaking like a pound of ground beef and like 12 eggs with a mass gainer shake. Watching this video, just chowing down. Like I don't give a fuck how I feel. I need to put on this weight.
That's crazy.
So that helped me a lot. Putting on weight with the gym. Really developing and building this habit of working out. But as far as sharing my story, man, there's a couple main guys that have been big influences with that. And number one is this guy named Wes Watson. You might have heard of him.
Bro, okay. I feel like I've seen you connected with him on Instagram somehow.
Yeah, I've met him a couple of times. I haven't worked with him directly, but
he's local in Miami.
I've interviewed him just with like little like phone interviews that I do sometimes with people I see. So I've met him a couple of times, and I've worked with people that he's worked with.
That's how it is. So, do you know a guy named Arturo something or
Turo, bodybuilder guy?
So he's coming on, I think, next week.
Okay.
So the more that a lot of you guys are in that community, right? I feel like it's a pretty close knit group of guys that I'm not so involved with, right? Like you're kind of my introduction to that side of things. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how this podcast is gonna get into that space a little bit.
Yeah, dude, it's an awesome space, bro. It's a space of men just uplifting each other, living life to the highest level, holding each other accountable, excelling in all areas. So yeah, it's an awesome space, man. So Wes Watson, he was a guy who really, really inspired me with my sobriety, with sharing my story, with getting vulnerable. So he was one of the first guys. I've been sober now, I think like 413 days. Bro, that's amazing. Off everything. Praise God, dude. It's been a huge blessing.
My mom's at like 800 days or something, and she attributes so much of her success she's in real estate as well. So I'm a second generation real estate entrepreneur, but she attributes massive amounts of success to being sober. And she's got a timer on her phone. Do you have one on your phone? I got the
same
Bro,
thing,
she's so proud of that shit. Every day or every weekend, I would be like, oh, I'm going out. She's like, stop drinking, stop drinking, stop drinking, stop drinking. And I always thought that I was going to stop drinking after my college years, right? I didn't graduate college. I dropped out. But I was still hanging out with my friends that went to school. So through that, I would go to the parties and all that stuff. And I was like, man, when they graduate is when I should have graduated, I'm going to stop drinking. But I drank until 26. So I always thought it was going to be like 22, let it go on until 26. But no, never again.
Let's go.
Never again.
Let's go, man. It's something I say a lot too, and I coach people on is like just that one more day mentality. Like as soon as you think too far,
the power of one more.
Yeah, dude. As soon as you think too far ahead, you're gonna fall, bro.
Yeah.
But if you just think about what you can do today to stay on that path that you want to stay on, to stay sober, and just take it one day at a time, that's been the biggest thing for me, bro. I wouldn't have been able to stay sober. I tried 100%. So many different times to stay sober, and it wasn't until I tapped into that mindset, just one day. One more day. These days add up.
I think it's also a little bit of changing identity, right? It's like an identity disassociation where you no longer identify with taking those pills or with drinking. Like if somebody asks me, oh, I'm not a drinker. I don't even know what the hell happened to me. Well, I know what happened. I went to the military and I got like a 6-month cleanse, right? So I didn't drink like 3 months before that. Got 6-month cleanse. I was like, man, I ain't never going back to that drinking stuff. Never again. But for me, it was like an identity switch, and now it's like, dude, like somebody asked me to drink anything, it doesn't even slip my mind. Like, oh, maybe you want to drink? It's like, hell no, never again. Which is weird.
Yeah,
I can't explain. Like, can we dive a little bit into that? Like, what you think that mental process is like?
The mental process of like what exactly?
Like disassociation, or not taking pills anymore, or not drinking. Like, I don't know where I'm trying to go with this, but for me, I haven't been able to pinpoint. I always look for answers and like things to pinpoint and replicate, right? But like I haven't been able to pinpoint how I was able to stop drinking and how I will never drink again. So I'm wondering if you've been able to like pinpoint psychological something.
Yeah, dude, that's an excellent question, and I think it comes down to a couple things. Like first and foremost, there's a transformational process that you could take people through to kind of help them, go through that process. But then where that transformational process usually starts is with like a catastrophic event, something that's like, yeah, exactly, like a rock bottom moment, something where you're just like, maybe someone dies in your life, maybe you just got out of jail. I don't know what it is, but just a rock bottom moment. For me, it was suicide, watching my best friend die. So that's number one. And then number two, where the transformation really starts is once you start doing introspection. So you need to think about why you're in the position you're in today. No change is going to happen until you find out why you are who you are today. And then as soon as you do a little introspection, you dive into your past and find out what you did in your life that led you to become who you are today. That's when you can assess to reassess.
Accountability, which is partial accountability, right?
Yeah. And
I think a lot of people struggle with that. They're like, oh, I'm this because of my mom did this or because my dad did this. So they off-put that accountability and then they won't accept it. And then then you don't heal. If you're not accountable, I don't think you can heal or change.
Responsible, yeah. You need to be responsible for what you've been through because it's no one's fault but your own.
Exactly.
So as soon as you do that, that's the first step, dude. That's always the first step. And I love that you asked this because it's what I coach people on, actually. This is
perfect.
Yeah.
Let's fucking hit it.
Let's hit it running. Yeah. So that's the first step is, finding out introspection, why you are who you are today, what led you to become who you are today. Once you find that out and you have a good understanding of that, you can then assess to reassess. And through that reassessment, that's where you start to eliminate negative behaviors in your life. So you think of not just that one maybe drug or alcohol that you're trying to remove, but you think about the triggers that are making you do that drug or alcohol or whatever it is. Sure. For most people, it's people, right? It's usually people, places, and things. But for most of the time, it's people that you surround yourself with, your environment. That's what triggers you to use. So as soon as you eliminate...
You're an average of the 5 closest people next to you, whether it be online or in person.
Right.
Okay.
So as soon as you eliminate that habit and then you start to eliminate the triggers around it, it just becomes a lot easier because you don't even think about it. So that's the second step, is eliminating vices.
I have a very in-depth question. I think this will be a good question. Now, let's say you're always, in those 5 people, you're always the one that's farthest ahead, right? Like you're the one that's promoting the not drinking, which gets everybody else to change. You're the one that's making the money, but it seems that the other people around you are kind of following off of you, right? It's always best to not be, or let me rephrase this. It's always best to be the dumbest person in the room, not the most intelligent, right? And I think a lot of people, how old are you?
26.
26. I'm 27. So 27 years old, house, girlfriend about to get engaged, all these things, right? I think it can be tough to stack wins at a young age, right? So if you're ahead of the game, you're like ahead of the game. So how does one go about getting into being the worst of the 5, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Just always looking to improve, always looking to surround yourself with new people. Investing in yourself, I think, is the number one way.
I think you got to pay for it.
You got to pay for it, bro.
I think you got to pay 10 grand to join a mastermind and then sit under there and just be the stupidest one, the poorest one. And then you're basically forcing yourself to acclimate and kind of grow up into that tree.
Yeah. Investing in yourself is the number one way. And then just also having this belief in yourself where you can go out and get anything you want. Because the only limits that you have are the limits you set on yourself.
100%.
Number 1 is that belief. Number 2 is like that burning desire. And then number 3 is just going out and talking to people. You can't expect to change your life when you're not communicating with people what you want. So you need to express what you want out of life, what your biggest goals, dreams, and desires are. And then as soon as you start to express that to the world has a funny way of meeting you in the middle.
100%.
So it's like the law of cause and effect, bro. It's like you put so much good out, eventually you're going to get good back, and that's just how things work, bro. It's a blessing.
Interesting. I find myself a lot of the times as like the one of the 5 that are like kind of pulling everyone else up. You know what I mean? And like, for example, at the end of this month, I'm going to a family office meeting in New York. Do you know what a family office is?
No.
So they manage there's a really wealthy family, maybe 50 million plus net worth, right? And they manage the money for these people, right? So it might be a team of 5 that just manages the money for this one particular family because they're so wealthy, right? So I'm going to one of these events at the end of the month out of hopes to build great relationships. This is as high as you can go on a monetary level, right? Like particularly in the real estate space, because they're the big investors that will go invest in these 300 unit complexes, for example. So I'm really excited to kind of go there, but you had to pay 10 grand to go. You know what I mean? So like, I find myself, I don't know, it's so interesting. I'm really trying to kind of get into a friend group where I'm at the bottom. I really want to be at the bottom.
Yeah, and dude, it's important. I think that desire that you have that's what it takes to continue to rise to the next level. Mm-hmm. There's always a new level, no matter 100%. How successful you get, no matter how happy you are, no matter how hot your girlfriend is, or how nice your house is, or how nice the car you 100%. Drive is. There's always a new level.
100%.
And the beautiful thing about that though is that level is different for everyone, which is like your level of happiness. Like happiness is different for everyone, bro.
It's not money always either.
Most of the time, it's not.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's not. All money is a tool. Freedom. A tool to live a life that you want to live. A tool to create. Honestly, what I think money does, at least the most important thing money does for me, is it gives me the
options.
It gives me the freedom to free up my time to do whatever the hell I want. Yeah. If I wasn't able to do that, I always say it like this, bro. Like, I would rather make $50,000 a year and be able to do whatever the fuck I want with my time than make $600,000 a year and be stuck in an office working 9 to 5,
grinding your face off.
Yeah, and have no choice to do what I want. So
you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is?
Oh yeah, he's a goat, dude.
He was a big inspiration. He's from New York too. Obviously Manhattan, like the city, but big New York Jets guy. I love him. He was a ton of inspiration for me. Helped me drop out of college because I was like, man, fuck this. But yeah, bro. So can we continue diving back into the stuff you coach about? I don't know. I think I kind of cut you off and you didn't get to finish that thought, but I'd love to finish that out.
Yeah, dude. So I think I was right at the third step. So It's a transformational process that people go through, that I walk people through, that really creates true change in your life. And what it does is it allows you to recreate your identity and step into that best version of yourself. So it starts with, the introspection, assessing to then reassess to make changes moving forward. That's the first step. The second step is, eliminating these negative habits in your life that are holding you back from becoming the best version of yourself. And then finding those triggers that make you do those negative things. And then once you start to remove these negative things out of your life, it's super important in the next step to supplement your time with positive things, because time and boredom is the main reason that people will fall and start to do things that don't truly align with the reality they're trying to create. So it's really important to supplement your time with positive things. And then that's the third step, is building positive habits, finding ways to start creating the reality that you're trying to create.
Just stay fucking busy.
Yeah, dude, pretty much. Stay busy doing positive shit. That's it.
I always find myself getting into trouble or doing stupid shit when I'm not busy.
Yeah. Simple. Like, just live by a schedule, bro. Like, put things on a calendar and do things when you say you're going to do them and stick to that. And it's as simple as, like, if you're someone watching this and you're at a low point right now and you just want to make a change and you have nothing positive going for you in your life, the number one thing that you could do is just go work out, bro. Like, just dedicate 2 hours to the gym every day, especially if you have nothing else to do. Spend fucking 4 hours in the gym. Yeah. Like, just put in the work in the gym. Because the one thing about the gym is, exactly, it's healthy. You're getting stronger. You're able to, put those stressful negative thoughts that maybe come into your head. You're able to put it out on the weights. Yep. And then the other thing that everybody has in common inside of a gym is everyone's trying to get better. Uh-huh. So you're automatically surrounding yourself with people trying to improve in life. And if you start to make friends and start to connect with people inside of the gym, dude, your whole life's going to change. I actually have a funny story that kind of, relates to this. When I first started working out. So when I first started working out, like I told you, the first time I walked into the gym, dude, I felt like the world was against me. I felt like everybody was judging me, and like my confidence was just so low and everybody was further ahead. So, but I made the commitment. I said, every day I'm going to work out for 3 months. About a month in, I was going at the same time every time. So I was going around like 8, 9 p.m., 7 days a week, every single day at that time. And what I started to notice after doing that and sticking to that schedule for a month is I was starting to notice a lot of the same faces. Yeah. And those were the same people that were also following that same schedule. So automatically I was like, all right, I got something in common with these people. They're also working out every single day. So what I did was I saw a guy who I wanted to look like. I saw a guy who, maybe looked like he had put in some time in the gym, right? He'd probably been working out a lot longer than I had. He was further ahead than me. He was jacked. And I saw him, dude, and I was like, at first I was intimidated, but I was like, the fact that I'm like intimidated and I feel uncomfortable just like making eye contact with this guy, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going to go up to him. Yeah. I'm going to ask him for a tip and for advice. So I did exactly that, bro. I went up to him and I was like, yo, and I gave him a compliment. So when you do something like this, don't let your ego or your pride take over and not, do it respectfully. You want to give someone a compliment first. And when you give someone a compliment, what it does is their guard comes down and they're receptive, whatever you're trying to say. Absolutely. So I complimented him and I was like, dude, you're in freaking amazing shape, bro. Like, I want to get like you at some point. I just started my gym journey like a month ago, but eventually I want to look like you. What tips do you have for me, bro? Like, what could I do to stay consistent on this journey? And, dude, funny enough, he gave me a couple tips. A week went by, we started to see each other, started to like connect a little bit further. And this guy ends up turning into my best friend for like the next year on my gym journey. We start working out together every single day. He's like holding my hand throughout the process, guiding me. And it all started because I stepped out of my comfort zone into the unknown. Fear, what felt like a lot of fear in the moment, ended up turning into something so good. And that's like a beautiful representation of that, of just like fear, stepping into the unknown, turns into something amazing. So I always tell people that too. I'm like, dude, if you are in the gym, go up to that guy you want to look like. Go up to someone, like find ways to network inside the gym because people there want to help.
100%, man. That's amazing. I think a lot of people won't go to places like that because of their ego. I feel like so many people have an ego they're entitled today. And it's like, I remember when I first got started in real estate, for example, I'm not in college. 2, I'm serving tables, right? Serving tables was the most demoralizing thing for me in the entire world. You got friends that are going to school and they see you serving and I'm like serving them food. I felt like a total freaking loser, bro. You know what I mean? But I had to do it to make things work, to go buy another property, to get my cash flow right, all these things. So, and I think the older you get, the bigger your ego grows and the less likely you are to kind of get out of that comfort zone and like jump backwards in life. But like in the real estate world, there's so many opportunities that come but require sacrifice. For example, one thing about people our age living in downtown or Brickell, you have these nice apartments, right? You got the quartz countertops or with the backsplash. Everything looks like modern and new, right? And then they want to go buy a property. But it's like what they can afford is an absolute shithole compared to that. But at least they would get in, own, and then kind of make a ton of money on the back end. But they won't even sacrifice because it doesn't look proper. So I translate that a lot into the real estate space. Is like you have to get over your ego and go. And like you just mentioned about talking to that gentleman, it's like you got to do it. You got to freaking do it, man. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's that fear, bro. Once you face that fear, a lot of the times all the solutions and everything that you want is on the other side of that fear that you're not willing to face. But as soon as you face it, it's like you never know what it's going to lead to.
100%. I don't work out, as you can tell. I'm pretty skinny. I lost probably, 20 pounds. I got out of the military like 2.5 months ago. So I was there for 6 months. I'm still in the Army Reserve. So what that means is, are you familiar
with the reserves? Yeah, I got a buddy that's in the reserves also. So
cool. Once a month we go for training, right? But in there, working out a lot, rucking, all this different shit. I was big into like weightlifting, for example, in high school. I played football, was a pretty good football player, but I'd live in the gym then. But now, dude, I just don't work out. I just run. I really just run. Would love to get back into the gym. I always say that, but am I really committed? No. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things like I should do it, but I'd rather just hit a run. So I don't know. Which gym do you go to?
Yeah, dude, everyone's got their own kind of way of doing it.
There's no right way.
Yeah, if running works for you, then run. You know what I mean? It's just about
if we fought, though,
staying active.
You would kick my ass, though.
Yeah.
If you could catch me. No, right? I always say that. There was a guy on here like I'd say a week ago, and just huge dude. His name's Jacob. And I was like, man, you could just go like that and crush me. And he brought up a good point. It was like, it's often the people that are the biggest that don't have anything to prove. So they're like the nicest people. I don't know if that translates at all in your world or not, but
yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah, I get it, dude. It's really everyone has their own way of doing it. There's no right way or wrong way. The main thing is just stay active, keep yourself fit. I think with working out, it's one of the best things that you could do for yourself, because especially at the age that we're at, like we're at such a good age to prioritize this, to make this a habit. The thing with working out, bro, is most people don't start to do it until things start to decline. until, you know, something happens. We're like, fuck, my health is, you know, really going down in a spiral right now. I need to start working out. But the sooner you could kind of take control of this area of your life and build the habit, it's only going to benefit you for the rest of your life. Because as you get older, bro, like I always think of it like this. I have a long-term vision with everything I do, bro.
100%.
And I always think of it like this, because you see like 45, 50-year-olds, right? And you see this anywhere. You go to your, you know, closest mall, you go to your closest park, you go to your closest gym.
Every neighbor in this neighborhood's like minimum 50 years of age.
Exactly. So you just do it walking around here.
Exactly.
Dude, you see a 45, 50-year-old, right? And you can tell just by looking at them, having a quick conversation with them, you can tell the exact choices and decisions and habits and things that they did with their life over the last 20 years, just by looking at them.
A lot of them have like decreasing bone density. Like you freaking would poke them and they feel like they're going to crumble.
Yeah,
and
dude.
like one big solution to that is lifting weights. I'm pretty sure you know more about it than I do.
That's what I was going to say. So then on the other side of the coin, you also see, so there's two sides of that coin, right? You see that 50-year-old where you're like, all right, this guy clearly smoked weed, smoked cigarettes, drank alcohol, partied every chance he got, ate like shit, didn't work out, slept in, slept late, or woke up, went to sleep late, had all these bad habits, you know, watch porn. You could just tell by looking at him. But then you see the same guy, same age, who's all ripped up, cut up, in good shape, charismatic, tan,
Happy,
good
healthy.
skin, happy, healthy, all these things. You're like, geez, this guy clearly, you know, did some good things over the last 30 years. He clearly worked out, didn't party, didn't smoke, didn't drink, you know, ate healthy, woke up early, read, like all these things. So I want to be that 50-year-old man that people look at. Yeah, and they're just like, damn, I want to look like this guy when I'm 50. Because I've met 50-year-olds like that, and they're inspiration to me.
100%. Me too. So a couple places I want to go here. There's a gentleman on Miami Beach who did a Netflix documentary called Blue Zones. Are you familiar with that documentary?
Never heard of it.
So it's all about centennials. I forget what the hell the term is, but they live till 100.
Okay.
Right. So he went to there's 7 places in the world where people live till 100 years or older in a more frequent rate. Right. And he did this big study on life longevity, and muscle mass and like weightlifting is one of the biggest factors, because as you get older, your bone density decreases, right? And then you start having a hunchback, you start falling, all these things. So he was like, lift weights. So I was like, man, for sure. Like, I'm not lifting weights right now, and maybe I should be, but I'm going to be very careful about that as I age, is like making sure I do get in the gym. And then we're probably going to have kids in the near future, maybe 2 years away, right? I'm going to be big on Anna about like hitting the weights, squatting to increase the efficiency of childbirth, right? Like I've seen my Instagram feed, it knows, goddamn, I got the ring, so it's sending me all the ring stuff, and then it's sending me all these childbirths and all these moms talking about like how weightlifting it made their labor super seamless. Like there was a lady, she had a 15-minute labor. The baby was out like that. She didn't even give birth in the hospital. She did it standing up. And I'm not a female, so like there's obviously a lot of things I don't know here, but to give birth laying down on your back like that, she was like, absolutely not. Just hit squats every day, work your pelvic muscles out, and then boom, you'll just have the damn thing. Just drops, yeah. I was like, well, that's Anna. We're doing this. You know what I mean? It's like, let's go.
Love it. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's like, you're so right. There's so many different two sides to the coin. I do see a ton of it over here.
There's so many benefits, dude, of working out. Like it benefits you in every single way. It makes you more confident. It allows you to make more money. Most people don't see that, but it's like it does, because it makes you an overall more competent person.
100%.
If you want to do business, think of it like Andy Elliott portrays this so well. Do you know Andy Elliott?
He's a beast.
Yeah, dude.
Beast.
I freaking love that.
I'm wearing short shorts like him today, but my legs don't look like that.
I love how he portrays it though, because he basically he's just a living example, man. That like the better in shape you are, the more money you're gonna make, and
he won't hire fat people.
Yeah, no, he won't. And when he does, when he has some people that are like skinny fat or just out of shape, he'll call them out, dude.
Yeah.
I love his videos. They're so good.
Dude, he's great, man. Now, let me talk about this, because I'm more on the business side, right? And I think this is going to be an interesting conversation. I see so many people in the gym every day that have everything it takes to be super wealthy. And I always talk about this. They have the commitment. They have the discipline. They have the motivation, all these things. They're just so focused in the gym and they're fucking shredded. Like, you over anybody knows how much commitment, time, energy, effort, the food intake, all these things that you have to track and manage if you really want to get that big, right? So I look at them and I'm like, okay, you could have that or maybe a little bit less of that, but if you dedicated X amount of time to creating a solid income for yourself, you would crush it because you have all the tools necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's you see it a lot. And I was one of those guys for a while. But what happens is, so I think the biggest thing is fitness should be the foundation, right?
Health.
Health and fitness should be the foundation. So that's kind of where you start, especially if you're at a low moment. For me, that's where I started. It saved my life. But from that foundation, I then used those principles that you mentioned, right? Discipline, motivation, consistency, motivation, all these principles, confidence, all these things that you build through the gym, but then you can then start to apply into other areas of your life, to build a successful business, to help other people. And when I see someone who's in great shape, I always tell them, and this is what I also help people on. So one of my new offers that I just created is helping, trainers start their online business, because I see people who are in shape, bro. And I'm like, you can clearly help someone. You just need to come up with a system, strategize a little bit, think of how you want to offer your coaching services and start to attract those people to you, right? And people's biggest mistakes, bro, is they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they can help anyone. But it's like, you changed your life. You were able to transform your own body. Now you can help someone else do the same simply by how you were able to help yourself. Sure. So that's how I define niche, actually. People think of niche and they're like, dude, I don't know what the heck my niche is. It's you. Your niche is who you were before you are now. So go find that person. That should be your biggest mission in life, to go find that person, help them, change their life, and then guess what? They're going to be forever indebted to you, and they're going to create testimonials for you, and they're going to help you build your business, because testimonials and stories, especially success stories, is what sells. And when people see that kind of stuff, dude, that's what makes people want to buy into what you offer. So if you're first starting a business, the best thing that you could do, especially as an online coach or a fitness business or whatever it is help people for free.
Sure.
Get some testimonials, get some success stories. People aren't going to buy into what you offer with you being able to show any success besides your own. So you need to first help some people for free. That's what the biggest thing that helped me, dude, on my business journey is helping people for free, getting those testimonials, and then using those testimonials as leverage to attract more business.
You study Alex Hormozy?
Yeah.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
You read like $100 million offers.
I haven't read the leads yet.
You should read that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have a good basis of it, like what you just explained, but 100 Million Leads that's a great book too. He talks a lot about that shit. So you think that getting to the next level from the gym is basically just building on the principles that you've already built at the gym. Just taking it and finding a niche and starting with the people that you used to be.
Right. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the biggest thing about the gym is you build all these core values and principles that you can then apply into other areas of your life, whatever it is, whether it's relationships, business, whatever it is, finances. So yeah, that's the biggest thing, man, is just start there. And then you got to obviously know what you want. Yeah. Like if you start with fitness, but you don't want to help others, you don't want to be a personal trainer, you don't want to be in a service business, find out what it is that you want. That's the first step. And then start to apply, some of these things to other areas.
Let's dive into this, because we were talking off the scenes or behind cameras. You said that you were thinking about switching up your social media strategy. You're taking a break. Hit me with your thoughts on that, because I'm balls deep in social media right now, coming off of a 6-month break from the military. So hit me with your strategy. What are you thinking? What are you doing?
Yeah, dude. So last week on Thursday, I had a conversation with a good friend who I highly respect, and he said something to me that kind of flicked a switch in my brain, and it was just something I've been thinking about for a while, but hearing it from someone else just really reaffirmed it. But mainly I just felt like the man that I am in person wasn't aligning and representing the social media side of me.
You got to sell your soul, brother.
Yeah, dude. So
Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Jack Doherty.
I don't want to live a reality that doesn't align with who I truly am. And I started to feel like I was presenting myself as this like, no
whatever.
days off, like super hardo, like, yo, you got to fucking hit the gym, bro. You're a pussy. Like, I don't like that. That's not who I am. That's not how you win people over. And I started to feel like I was doing a lot of that. So I was like, this isn't who I am. I don't know. I'm trying to be someone I'm not. So let me take a step back, and I'm taking a week off. If I need to take more time, I will. And it's hard for me to do because my whole business is through Instagram. I make all my money and I get all my clients through Instagram alone.
I say that I always say shit that I don't necessarily believe in because the algo will take it and it'll hit. It's such an interesting game. Yeah. Like this fucking handlebar stash, this stupid ass watch and all. Like I'm just trying to. I'm so like I think you could say I'm desperate to like grow. That's how I feel right now. Like I feel like I'm desperate to grow. I know what hits the algo. I've posted 1,300 posts on Instagram and I only have 7,500 followers. I did not buy followers, any of that shit. I did at one point manually unfollowed all 10,000 because I realized what it was doing to my interactions and shit. So I feel, man, like right now I feel, like I said, just desperate. I feel like I'm reaching, but I also feel like it's a performance game. It's more of an entertainment game than an education game. Right? Because there's 70,000 realtors in Miami trying to do the same thing that I'm doing. So how am I trying to stand out? You know? And like, to your point, I think it's cool you're taking a break. I love that you're kind of doing that introspect. I would say I'm on the opposite side right now, which is so interesting.
What is that opposite side?
Like I said, just like saying shit just for the algo, talking about like I'm making posts about Ozempic. How
it doesn't work though, dude. I've tried it for a long time. It doesn't work because you're not being your true authentic self.
It's working for me. It's just slow.
It'll go a lot faster if you tap into your true authentic voice and you don't hold back, dude. That's what I'm having the biggest difficulty with is aligning my true authentic self with, and I'm good at doing this on podcasts. That's why I want to start doing more podcasts like this.
You're
the conversation we're
great
having
at podcasts, bro.
This is me.
I was gonna tell you when you were telling your story. I was like, why is this guy taking a break from social media?
Yeah, because the thing is, I feel more comfortable like this, but for some reason, once I start to shoot content and stuff, it just doesn't come out right. But that's what I think I'm going to start doing.
It's easier to create
this
together.
This is going to be part of my new content strategy. Actually, is just podcast clips.
Yes.
So that's going to be a big thing for me moving forward. Is I'm going to post a lot of just like.
I think you're going to do great. Like I think you already have some success on Instagram and social media, right?
Yeah.
So, but like listening to your story, I was like, motherfucker, this guy's got so much cooler shit to talk about than me. You know what I mean? Like I was like, damn, this is cool.
Yeah, we all got a story, bro. You know what I mean? Everyone's story changes, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Your uniqueness is what makes you up, what you've been through, certain areas in your life. And I would, I would honestly say, bro, like I think the deeper you could dive into some of those things in your life, where low moments, maybe things that like secrets to you, and you don't want to let anyone know, because we all have them.
Yeah, 100%.
The more you can kind of talk about those things and express those things, that's I feel like where your true authentic voice comes out.
So is that what you're trying to hit, or are you?
Yeah, bro. I just want to have a different approach. Like I haven't really. The thing is too with my content, I haven't really sat down.
I'm learning as we're talking. That's why I'm asking. Like,
yeah, no,
this shit. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I appreciate the questions. I could tell you're digging deep into this subject, which is matters to me a lot, because that's why I took a break, dude. It was the hardest thing for me to take a break. Basically, putting business on pause for a whole week, or 2 weeks. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but yeah, dude. I just want to align my voice with the man I am right now, the man I am in person, with the voice I put on social media. So that's the biggest thing. And yeah, I mean, I've had a little bit of success with social media. I know how to monetize. I'm really good at monetizing. I'm good at turning someone from a viewer to a client. But the goal is to just attract my tribe. I want to attract the people who are for me, the people who need me most. In order to do that, I need to be my most authentic self. Sure. Because if I'm not going to attract the right people.
I think what you're going to realize too is like, so you spoke on stage 2 times, you said, right?
Yeah.
What was that like? Like, give me the scenario of where you were speaking and stuff.
So they were both seminars. So they were like little like workshops. They weren't like huge stages. They were both under 50. So one room was about 50 people, and the other room was like 20.
Sure. One
of the seminars I actually hosted myself. So me and a partner, we dialed in. It was actually earlier this year. His name's Chris Diaz. You might know him. No.
Yeah, we put together a workshop, which was actually called Conquer the Critic Within, where we help people, tap into that there's two voices in your head, right? There's one negative voice that's eating you alive, and there's one positive voice that's trying to get you to do the tough stuff. So we did a whole workshop on that. We dove deep into some of that stuff. We went through some exercises. We had another guest speaker who was a dentist. We sold out the room, which was sick.
Sweet.
It was like a smaller space. We sold every seat.
People don't realize how much work that takes to put an event together. Like, I have a party here every month, and just to get people here is such a grind. Like, it's a whole ass grind in and of itself. You know what I mean? And over time it grows, but to sell even 50, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a big win.
Yeah, it was sick. It was sick, dude. I'm looking forward to doing more. That's definitely on the radar.
Hell yeah.
Something I see myself doing is speaking on big stages, sharing my testimony and stuff. So
that's awesome. So I spoke at my high school and then middle school. My first business was a clothing company, and I learned a lot by speaking on those stages. I had no fucking idea what I was doing, but it was just getting in front of 300 students and 300 people and talking to the principal about what I was going to talk about, getting them to trust me. That whole entire process was a very educational, awesome process to go through. I haven't really done anything since. It's just kind of been more on the social media side. But mass marketing like that is so valuable because I only have 7,500 followers, but imagine 7,500 people sitting right here listening to you. Or a video with 100,000 views. That's 100,000 people sitting in an auditorium watching your content. That's amazing. You know what I mean? So I think events are huge, and that's super cool that you did that, bro. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that you put it in that kind of perspective, because that shows the power behind social media. Like, when you think of that, you think of okay, most people see a video with 100,000 views, and it's just they don't really think much about it, right? It's it's just another video with a lot of views. But when you look at it like that, you're like, oh, this is an auditorium with 100,000 people. That shows you the power behind social media, bro.
Crazy.
And we live in a crazy, time right now where social media is only going to continue to evolve. As technology evolves, social media is going to evolve. Businesses are going to look to start, really using the platform. Right now, I feel like it's about 50-50.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah.
Younger?
Yeah.
How old?
I have one 16-year-old brother.
Me too.
Yeah.
So how is he on social media?
He doesn't really use it much, bro. He's an athlete. He's a
That's how my
soccer
brother
star.
is too. And I'm telling him, my brother's a baseball. I'm like, God damn, get your shit going.
I'm trying to tell him too, bro. Same thing. I'm like, yo,
my brother's trying to play.
I could help him crush it.
Is he trying to play in college?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So is my brother. So I'm like, man, if you're gonna get recruited, you got to have at least a couple posts about baseball on this bitch.
Yeah.
He's like, no. And I'm like, man, I thought that these younger kids were so much more involved in social media than us. Like TikTok, for example. I know I think our brothers might be on the
other
side of not interested at all. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it's then you got the other kids that are so dependent on it.
Digging, yeah.
And that's 10 years younger than us. So I look at that and I'm like, I think it's going to be even crazier for them. I don't know.
See, time will only tell, but I know one thing for sure, bro. Social media is not going anywhere. It's around for the long term. 100%. And I always say it like this. If you think if this is a graph, right? It starts here, finishes here. Instagram started here back in 06, 05, I think is when it first came out. It's been trending up, right? It's been trending up the whole time. It's really never trended down. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
We're still have way up here to go. It hasn't even nearly reached its pinnacle. So the amount of opportunity right now on the platform is insane, bro. I can't stand when I hear people say, yo, Instagram is saturated or social media is saturated. You hear it so often. It's dude, you are totally wrong, bro.
Sure.
It is not saturated whatsoever. The opportunities right now are endless. You just have to go out and find them.
And it's free too, right? Right now, at least it's free. I think in the future we may have to pay for it, which is going to be a very sad thing. But right now you can post on it and do whatever you got to do. I don't know. It's interesting, bro. Anything else you want to touch on as far as your journey or what you're trying to do or your goals or any interesting shit?
Dude, I think we talked about a lot, dude. I honestly, like I said, it's my third podcast. Saw this as an opportunity to come on, get to know you a little bit deeper. I think it's really cool how this is our first actual in-person interaction with the camera on, filming, 100%. Talking about some deep stuff. And this is what I live for, bro. Share my story, digging deep, learning about people. So I guess my question to you, man, is I know you're kind of early into this whole like podcast realm. What's your vision with this? Where do you see this kind of going?
So I'm hitting 5 a week at 100 episodes, and I know nothing good is going to happen for 5 years. This is a 5-year investment minimum. Similar to like your 3-month gym situation, 5-year commitment, nothing. I don't want anything from it. What I do after these podcasts is I go and I document. So there's a document that I have in there of all the episodes. I run through how I felt, different equipment that I use, different strategies, how the guest was, how I connected with the guest, in the amount that I've changed over the past 22 episodes, this is, or 23, whatever the case is immense, right? And I think you're going to see the same thing as you go through this, is like you episode now versus once you have, like, I'm probably 30 hours behind camera now. I couldn't even fucking talk episode 1 through 10. My opinions were so short formed, because I would always go on Instagram and hit a minute and 30 second video, no problem. But this long form articulation and like thought processes and opening up and talking about the tough shit, it's been a wild transformation, and I'm very excited for you to go through that, because you're already natural at it. You know what I mean? Like, the shit you talked about is crazy, man. Like, so I think you're going to see a lot of success. The problem is, I'm guessing, the space to do it right. The reason that I get so many people on and why I'm racing to 100 is like, it's free. You don't have to go pay the move, I don't know, $500 or the HQ $600, whatever the case is. If we got this house and it's on a phone, you know? So my advice to people would be, shoot on your phone, get 2 lights and something that you can screenplay to, and just make that shit and just hit it. I don't know.
There you go. Love it, bro. That's a powerful vision. I love that you have a long-term vision with it too, because I think that's what it takes. I think this could blow up a lot faster than 5 years. So when I just want to dive a little bit deeper into that vision that you kind of shared with me, like, what do you see this like evolving or turning into?
So I'm getting a couple big podcast guests coming on now, right? Like, I'm booked out through the middle of October, and there's some big people coming on, and I'm excited. But Bradley, for example, with Dropping Bombs. This all stems from me doing a podcast with Robert Martinez in Texas when I was like 21. He's got like $3 billion in real estate. And this was when he was coming up. So he gave me the opportunity, because I flew to Texas, met him, his team, and I sat on that podcast and I felt like an embarrassment. And I was like, shit, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know how to talk. He's giving me this opportunity. I'm blowing it. So I was like, I'm never going to blow an opportunity like that again to capture attention. Because I think Gary Vee just wrote a book called Day Trading Attention. We're all after that attention, right? So my goal with this is to become a very comfortable, confident podcaster, figure out my story, kind of like you have, figure out how to portray myself and like sell myself, essentially, go on these podcasts, get that attention, and then monetize it in some way. I could throw up advertising as well, and partnerships and all these things. Patrick Bet David podcast, right? He's done an amazing job. He's kind of attached valuetainment on the back end, which is very controversial. He's kind of doing the Andrew Tate method, I think. Super controversial political topics that need to be said, and then tying it into his podcast in like media enterprise, which I think is super interesting. So that's kind of my approach, is like, I want to be media full time, I think. This is kind of the entry point into that. I understand social media. I want to be able to make money from anywhere. Like real estate, like you kind of went from in-person coaching to online, right? Like you don't have to be in person anymore. Real estate, you have to be in the state or in that location to sell the property, typically. I hate that. I don't want to be tied to a specific location. So I would say like that kind of as a whole is what I can say with this. Where it will go, I don't know. I could open up a course and sell. All realtors should have a podcast. Here's your playbook to 100 episodes in 4 months. 100 episodes in 4 months is insane.
Oh, yeah.
5 a week is fucking crazy.
That's a lot, dude.
Am I missing good content clips? Yes, because I'm at such a high volume, right? There's probably been some semi-viral clips that I haven't clipped out and posted on Instagram because I'm just editing. Like, I edit the shit myself because I want to. Could go to Upwork and hire it out for $5 an hour. You know what I mean? But I want the experience. I just want to grind through this. So it certainly comes with its pros and cons, but that's kind of generally where I'm at, I guess.
Love it, bro. That's sick. You're in the early stages, which is the grinding stage, you know, just piecing everything together. I mean, I think I love what you're doing too, because I think it's super important, dude. And most people skip this step, and I'm guilty of it. In my journey is like trying to hire someone before you're even ready for that. So it's first important to learn everything about your business, everything about what you're doing, so then you can go teach someone else how to do it how you want it done.
Sure.
Because if you go hire someone before you kind of even know how you want it done yourself, they're just gonna do the bare minimum, and it's 100%. Never gonna be good. So I think that's super cool, the steps that you're taking towards this, dude, and I'm excited to be episode 22. Is that it?
I think something I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this evolves into and turns into for you. Because I could tell, dude, you're a great young man. I could tell you're ambitious and you want this to turn into something big. So I would just say, keep your eyes on the prize, bro. Never give up, and it'll happen. It's how life works. Like I said earlier in the podcast, dude, life has a funny way of meeting you in the middle.
Absolutely, bro. If you could leave the audience with one thing, like what would that one thing be? What's the one thing you want them to take away?
Stop waiting for the perfect time to take action and start to take action today. What happens when you wait for the perfect time to take action is tomorrow rolls around and it brings a whole new set of excuses. So stop telling yourself tomorrow I'll start. Stop telling yourself one day I'll start, and make today day one. Whatever it is you're trying to do, today's day one. That's
amazing. Where can the audience find you on social media? Because what I'll do if we're on YouTube here, I'll put that in the description so they can go find you.
Yeah. Follow me over at Gascue Fit. So that's my Instagram handle, Gascue, GASCUE FIT Fit. Post a lot of content based on talking a lot about the things we talked about today. Also on TikTok, same _ Gascue Fit. And I'll be up on YouTube soon. It's going into the content strategy. So let's get it.
Love that, man. Thank you so much for coming.
My guy.